Hello and welcome to Magic the Budgeting, where we learn how to play Magic without breaking the bank. This video is a guide on completing the Red Deck Color Challenge in Magic the Gathering Arena. If you're a first-time player, you can find the Color Challenge down here, next to your experience rewards. If you're a returning player, you can find it by going up to Learn More, and dropping down to Master the Color Challenge. Alright, we've got the 5 decks off to the right here, and we are on Chandra with the red deck. Let's go ahead and walk through the challenges. If this is your first time, you're going to need to complete these color challenges to unlock PvP, and you'll get a bunch of rewards along the way, so I hope this guide helps you out. Let's go! First challenger is Jace and the blue deck. Each of these challenges is going to really focus us in on using some combos in the specific color deck. Red deck is going to involve getting lots of creatures on the board and finding sneaky ways to do a lot of damage to the target's life. Okay, drop your second mountain, and we can get another street cadet onto the field. Not going to attack quite yet, because we'll just lose the street cadet with nothing to show for it. Now, this is going to be a key enchantment throughout the challenge, Raid Bombardment. Whenever a creature you control with power 2 or less attacks, Raid Bombardment deals 1 damage to player or planeswalker creature is attacking. So now here's where things begin to get a little crazy. We've got our 2 street cadets, and now if we have them attack, even if they don't destroy these creatures, they are going to deal direct damage with Raid Bombardment. And you can see the street cadets actually, when they're blocked, create red goblin creature tokens. So when they're destroyed, they're just going to put even more goblins on the board. So let's have them attack, and we'll get our raid bombardment started. 2 attacks equals 2 damage from the bombardment. And 1 attack gets through. We're left with another goblin token on the field. We can keep taking 1 damage, that's fine. We'll damage them faster than they can damage us. Got another mountain, and we have enough to drop another street cadet and play Goblin Gathering. Let's talk about this card. So you create a number of 1/1 red goblin tokens equal to 2 plus the number of Goblin Gatherings in your graveyard. So drop this, we'll get a couple goblin tokens that'll be able to attack soon enough, and we'll just keep attacking with all our goblins. 2 attacks with weak creatures means 2 strikes from the bombardment. We're left with plenty of things up on the board. Drop another mountain, and Goblin Gathering this time gives us even more goblins. We'll attack with everything. Look at all these raid bombardments going on. And the street cadets, even though they're destroyed, are just going to give us more goblins. Okay, so that's nice and all. He can block a lot of things, but we've got more goblins. Bunch more attacks. Raid Bombardment goes off a ton of times. He can't even block all of these, and that's the game right there. Interesting, he could have chosen to block some of them. He still would have lost, technically. That's the first challenge down. Lots of creatures, lots of weak creatures, and raid bombardment. Next up, this one's going to focus on a couple more creatures that continue to flood the board with weak creatures. So I believe, yes, we're fighting Liliana this time, the black deck. And drop our mountain, and we'll get a street cadet. Easy first turn move. drop a mountain, and the only thing we can place is Tunneler, which we will need later. Okay, you can tap the Goblin Tunneler and target creatures that are weak to make them unblockable. Now this is important because it will let weak creatures get off more attacks, which is what we need for raid bombardment. Okay, so here we are. Now we could attack in with the Street Cadet, and they could block it. We'd still get the raid bombardment, but let's extend it a little bit. Okay, now he can attack without being destroyed. And look at that, we've got him around for a little bit longer. Even though he's got stronger creatures getting in attacks, with the raid bombardment, we're just going to get in so much damage. Let's drop a mountain. Let's drop our another bombardment. These do stack. So now every time we get one attack in with these weak creatures, right? 2 or less power. Then we're going to get 2 additional damage from these raid bombardments. And you saw how crazy it was with just one. Now, we have options. Let's go ahead, use Shock. We'll destroy one of these zombies. Okay, so he can't even block. Since this is tapped, we can actually attack with both creatures this turn. No need to tunnel. We're not going to lose either of these. And off of 2 attacks, we get 4 raid bombardment damage. Crazy. Tough creature, but we really don't care that much. Get another mountain, and get a tunneler. And so here we have a couple options. I think I actually want to lose the Street Cadet because... Oh no, I'm sorry. This one only creates 1 Goblin token, not 2. That's another card I'm thinking of. Let's go ahead. We'll tap. We'll get the Street Cadet in there for more damage. More raid bombardments. We have a blocker up if we need it for the Outrider. That is pretty strong. We don't want to keep taking that each time. With the Cold Blade, we are going to want to avoid making this too terribly strong. Let's take the 7 for now. We don't need... that's a lot of damage. Can we afford? Yeah, we can afford. We're just buying a little bit of time. Okay, we'll play our mountain. Haste, which means it can attack right when it's summoned. It doesn't have to wait a turn like most creatures. When the Street Cadet attacks, we're going to get a Goblin token anyway, so we can lose that. Let's get this Nest Robber through the Cold Blade. And we'll get a bunch more damage off the raid bombardments. Now, we do lose a creature, which means this Cold Blade is getting a little scary. But she has so little life left, it's not really going to matter. We're going to be able to end the game next turn anyways. A lot of times, winning in this way is just about... Do we want you to attack? You don't have lethal, right? So it doesn't matter. Yeah, a lot of times, you're just winning the race of doing more damage before your opponent. Here we go. It doesn't really matter how we play this. We have so many raid bombardments going off. We win the race, right? She just couldn't pump out as much damage as quickly as we could. And a lot of times, that's just what red is about. Get our deck upgrades for the win. That's 2 challenges down, and we're on to fighting Vivian and the green deck. Alright, so, just dropping our mountains. A little different this time. We don't have our raid bombardment right away. So, we're going to go with Shock. Get that off the board. This prevents all of the extra mana tapping. That's a pretty good trade, right? It cost us 1 mana to take out a creature that cost her 2 mana to play. So, just stopping her from playing anything too strong. Now, we've got another mountain down. It's getting a little stronger. Now we can play this Nest Robber, because we've got the backup of the Shock to get this out of the way for 1 mana. allowing this to go through with haste and attack. We're almost getting our Goblin Gang Leader on the board, which is a pretty powerful card. Right, Mountain. Now we have the option to play Goblin Gang Leader. It's going to give us 2 more goblins. So this turn is an interesting one. You can block our Nest Robber with just a 1/1. Still a decent trade. But I'm going to wait to see how this turns out, because we do have some cards here for removal. So this time we're not going to attack. Ah, there's a big problem card. Right, so a few ways we could play this. Burn Bright. This is going to be great. At the very end, if we have lots of creatures on the board, we'll be able to get a lot of extra damage. I think what we don't want to do here is Burn to Ashes. It's 5 mana, which is a lot, but it's just going to be able to eliminate a very powerful creature, which is this guy who's in our way. Right now, let's start getting some damage in with all of these, and I am pretty okay with losing any of them. Ah, she chooses not to block. The mana is more valuable to her. That's a fair play, so that she can keep doing things like this. Now, let's see here. We get a mountain. We've got a flying creature with haste. This can only block 1 creature, I think. We're in a position we could afford to lose it, and our flyer is always going to get over the top. Even if we lose a creature, it's only 1. Yeah, we can get a lot of damage in. And then Burning Bright is going to give us plenty to finish things off. And her deck was just too slow, just could not win in time. Let's see, we got 2 options. If we just attack with anything, she can't block the flying creature anyways. Just for fun, we'll play Burning Bright. Get a little extra damage in there, not that we need it. But you can see how that can be a great way to finish a game with a massive amount of damage if you're able to get a bunch of creatures on the board. Okay, so we're on to the next. Our next challenger is Ajani with the white deck. Now, admittedly, this one's a little tricky. I did have to play through it once to remind myself how this goes. But we have it now. Drop the mountain. There's the fencing ace. Drop a second mountain. Let's get our tunneler down. This creature can tap to make one of our weaker creatures unblockable. That will be important soon. Don't want to lose the tunneler. Drop a third mountain. We'll play the Molten Ravager. Can't do anything with it this turn. We need a little bit of mana. I guess he can't block, so we can attack. Doesn't matter too much, but a little damage. Take it when you can get it. Now we can block with this. No problem. Another mountain goes down. We do want to play both of these cards eventually. Let's go ahead and let's get this down. The goblins aren't that useful until we get a raid bombardment. And so now here's where we can start using this ability. We have a little bit of mana left over. We can, or do we want to destroy the creature this turn? We're going to save it so that we can block. No attacks. We want to save the mana so we can get rid of this annoying fencing ace. Alright, when he attacks, we're going to use a 1 to block the fencing ace after we activate its ability. Now this 1/4 can destroy the fencing ace, and this other one can just absorb the damage. And there's the raid bombardment we need. I'll go ahead and get that enchantment up. Now with these weak attackers, we really don't mind taking that damage. Let's go ahead, pump one of these guys up, and then we will get it through the defenders using the Goblin Tunneler. Now it's unblockable. We'll have the other one attack, even though it has 0 power. It will deal damage from the Raid Bombardment. I always think that's a funny combo, having a 0 power attack for the Raid Bombardment, but there you go. Drop another mountain. And since we can't do anything else, we'll need a little power on those. Let's get our goblins going. Okay, and even though we have 3 mana, be careful not to pump this over 2 because our Goblin Tunneler can only target a creature with a power of 2 that can't be blocked. Have both of them attack for the Raid Bombardment procs. Don't need to block any of that, just a little bit of damage. Now we have 2 options. Either one really should be fine, but let's get our Siege Dragon down so we can potentially get an attack in with that. We will go ahead and attack with both our Ravagers, leave everything else up for now. Since he has 3 defenders, he'll just destroy anything else that attacks. Oh, you know what? Actually, let's get 1 goblin. We'll tap this creature to get our goblin through. Just sneaking in 1 extra damage. 2 really, because the Raid Bombardment goes off with the goblin. I think this is overkill, but it's the more optimal way to play anyway. Now let's see, if we play the Tunneler, we can get more creatures in. We've got 5 left. That's going to take 4. Let's go ahead and get these guys down, just so that they're ready to attack next turn in case we need them. More Raid Bombardment procs. We'll give this guy 2. And we can tap 2, get one of the Ravagers, one of the Goblins through. Oh, he can't tap this turn. We just played him. Haha. And we've got a flying creature that can get through. 2 that won't be destroyed here. And it will just be that for now for the Raid Bombardment procs. And now Ajani only has 2 life left. This pacifies fine. We've got more than enough here that can still attack. And we can just finish it off with the Raid Bombardment. Look at that. Beautiful. Alright, and there is the red deck beating the white deck. Alright, and the only thing left is to face a human opponent, but I think this video has been long enough. Let's jump in. We're just going to concede after turn 2 or turn 3. You can do the same in your game if you're interested in just getting the rewards. Of course, you can always play it out if you're looking for a little bit of excitement. This is a very heavy hand. Oh my goodness. This is not much better. I'm looking for lower cost cards. That's okay. We're just gonna concede this game anyway. we've got bigger and better things to move on to in this series. So, thanks for joining me. This has been Magic the Budgeting, where we are learning to play Magic on a budget. Hopefully this has helped you out with your red deck color series. We'll go ahead and Storm Strike. Buff that Shaman up a little bit. Scryland, nice. He'll be very confused, and then we concede. If you're looking for help with the next deck, make sure you check it out, and I'll see you next time.